Thank you.
Hi, everybody. It's Linda G here, and I'm with Valerie Bradshaw. And I just met her. I was looking at her show. She has a video called Illumination Portal, and it really taps into more of a universal consciousness. It does the things that in between, because my gig is political. Part of it, as I was told to do that, it wasn't about, but this stuff that you're doing is my love, the way to help people get out of their own way.
Yeah.
And she just told me she does this big astrology reading. I'm going to give you guys her Gmail. You can sign up for a reading. Love UCU 11 or LL?
11.
11. Love LOVEUCU 11 at gmail.com. Right now she's charging $50 for like an hour and a half reading.
Yeah.
But it taps in deeply, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Call in my guides. I put us in a bubble of love, unconditional love and light, and call in both of our guides, guardians, angels, higher selves, and anybody that wants to. And they come in and they want to help you get on the path of your heart. That's what all this is about. It's finding, loving yourself and accepting yourself. And once you do, your heart opens up and you feel freer to do the things that you always dreamed of doing, but couldn't, or,
right,
circumstances and stuff.
Well, you're definitely working for the better good and helping others to find their way. And you guys go to her. She's Illumination Portal. Go over there and subscribe, and let's give her some support. But you were talking about the laws of the universe.
Yeah, there's 12 universal spiritual laws, and they do have sub laws and things like that, but each law builds off.
Can I ask real quick, where did you get the laws from?
Oh, you can get them online anywhere. Okay. And I'd already made a series of videos on my channel about it, but I was by myself. And then recently the Crone Zone and I made a video about it, and Sun Psychic Jean and I are going to do like a little video series. But this is kind of my guides really want me to help people understand. Okay. We are energy. We're energy. And when you tap into your love energy of yourself, your energy starts to expand and call in the things that matter to you, that really mean something to you. And we do these 12 universal spiritual laws all day, every day. But if you know what you're doing, you can put more focus in on it, on your energy, so you can create the life that you envision.
Right.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And to put, before my awakening happened, now I had a full-fledged awakening thanks to cancer. I would go to people, listen to speeches, and I'd hear about connection to source and all that, but I never quite grasped it until I had that aha moment. So people will ask me, I don't understand. I'm trying to reach that, but I can't feel it. And my guides have always told me, and I'm sure yours have too, part of the problem is we got tape recordings going. We're ego-based. We think that we're in control. It's almost like a giving of yourself to a higher realm, because that which is likened to itself is drawn. You cannot attract what you're not vibrationally matched to.
Exactly. And that's so important, because, okay, so the first step, you realize you want to give yourself more love and you want to accept yourself more, but how do you get the programming to stop?
Right. And how do you, when you tell Joe Blow off the street, this is how you do it, where do they start?
Well, if you could remember, the heart is our ruler of our energy field. The heart is in charge, but the heart speaks very quietly, and the mind and the ego will tell you, oh, you're worthless, you're this, you're that, you're not worth it. It took me, I'm gonna say does take work, and it took me probably a good 6 months to a year Every time one of those thoughts would pop in, I would grab it and reverse it right in the moment until it got to be my natural default. Because it's we're programming. Our mind is it's a computer, you know.
So becoming conscious is tough, because when do you identify those thoughts? You know what? You've got to be able to say, "Uh-oh, I'm going in circles here," because some people really don't understand. I've read people, and so have you, I'm sure, that you're trying to tell them, and they're still going in. But he left me, or he did this. It's like you got to focus off the pain and focus within yourself, and not take that burden with you.
Right. Well, we're taught, you know, not only do we have the programming and the brainwashing and how society is set up, we're taught. I don't ever recall anyone telling me that it would be in my best interest to love and accept myself. So I had to learn that at 50 something. And I'll say where I learned it from. Serious Joy, he's an astrologer. He does have a weekly YouTube thing, but he has a service, and it's $20 a month. And I'm telling you, it's the best thing I ever did, the best money I ever spent.
What's he called again?
Sirius, Sirius, Joy.
Okay.
And he's a spiritual astrologer. And I've been subscribed to him maybe 6 or 7 years. So I'm telling you, this how good he is, you know, because
But what does he talk about in that for that $20 a month?
Well, you put in your birth information, your birth information, and you get texts all day long. You get probably about 8 texts a day. There's a morning pep talk. There's a song for the day. There's all these other, like he's doing right now, 40 days of self-love. This is why I'm bringing it up, because I've done this 40 days of self-love like for 6 years straight. It's a game changer, because you see how that worthless program is telling you you're worthless, and you're not. None of us are. We're all divine sparks of God, you know, and we deserve to live a beautiful life, and call in the things that matter to us, you know, health. And I couldn't barely walk. I had fibromyalgia. I was really bad off, and I was still bartending at the time. And I got to the point where I literally don't feel any pain anymore. Now, I'm not saying that's going to work for everybody, because I learned to love myself. So how do you accept these things in the past, right? Because I had these things that I just couldn't forgive. I couldn't, you know, it was terrible. I shouldn't have never done that, or all the crazy things we tell ourselves, right? Because nothing is that bad. We're here to experience experiences, and some are good and some aren't, and this is how we make those experiences into the person you are today, right? So here we are. Yes, we all have flaws. Yes, we all wish we didn't do things that we may have done. So his thing was always, you know, to go in and say, you know, I love myself some more, and to give yourself a free pardon from the past. Give yourself a pardon. You know, it's not so much, I'm not a big forgiveness person, but I could do acceptance. I could say, okay.
Right. Well, but you know, when I finally let my dad go, it's almost like they have no more power over you.
Exactly.
You don't have to forget. It's better if you can let some of it go, but you can forgive, but you exit out of that energy so they can't have power over you anymore.
And it's amazing, because that's really what happens.
Right.
And if more people understood that, how free you really are once you get to this.
Oh, it's remarkable. And you know, one of my favorite sayings is, in your suffering, you will see God. We unfortunately, we hate to see our kids suffer. Sometimes we overcompensate for our children.
Yeah.
So they don't feel suffering, but that's part of what makes you who you are. I am happy with my life, even though a lot of it was painful.
Yeah. Well, I say that all the time. I'm grateful for every moment of my existence, because it brought me to here. It brought me to see that God is in everything.
Yeah.
God is in everything. The spirit is in everything. And even to look at people, and believe me, Trump infuriates me, but I'm allowed to say the things I got to say, but after I'm done, I send them love. You know, that's what my guides guided me to do.
Right. Well, he's
And
a test. He's like a test.
yeah,
We're clinging on desperately. And somebody wrote me and said, you know, they're saying, you know, once he's gone, we'll forget about him. She goes, I hope we don't. And I told her, no, we won't. Because when I did readings a while ago, I said, it'll be like Hitler. It'll be taught in schools. You won't get rid of his name because people will be like, his name will be the same as Hitler.
Yeah.
Look at what he did to try to do to America.
It's unbelievable. And I look at it, right? I look at the last 7 years and I'm like, wow, look how far we've come. We really need to be proud of ourselves, give ourselves a big hug, say, we can get through this, we can get through anything.
Right.
You know, it's and once you can let go of that hate, even though I do want to see him pay, I always believed he wouldn't live that long either.
Me too. Me too.
I know you did. And it's just, he had to show the swamp. He had to show what was wrong on every level of our systems, because we live in this dog eat dog world. You know, if you have money, you can get an education. If you have money, your little kid can eat at school. If not, you can't. You know, what kind of,
well, he's, you know, he wasn't this sick when he came in. He got sick as he was there. He was drinking that power juice.
Yeah.
And he just wanted it, and he wanted everybody to agree with him. And he's falling, as you can tell. He's becoming desperate.
Mm-hmm. And there's something physically wrong with him, or I think it's more neurological, but I'm not a doctor or a nurse, but that's the way he tilts forward and things like that, you know. So
yeah,
it is going to be so much better for the world once we get through this, for America, because here's the crazy thing. America's in its second Pluto return.
Pluto, the Civil War.
Yes, 248 years. And the chart is crazy. We've gone through all the other planets hitting where they were in the United States of America's birth chart, right? But here, when Pluto gets into Aquarius fully, which should be about November 2024, it's going to be slow, but we're going to see evidence even before that on how our systems are changing, how we're being more caring and compassionate towards each other. Yeah. And more life affirming, you know, none of this struggle, this, you know, the taxes on top of taxes. I just see every system is being restructured, and that's by Pluto, but also by Saturn. Saturn's in Pisces right now, but in 2025, in August, he'll be in Aries. So that's a new start of the whole zodiac. And Neptune will be there. So Neptune's like represents spirit, right? So it's melding, merging human and spirit. It's really cool. And we're creating it as we go. So it's all new.
Well, Edgar Casey made a prediction in one of his things that a new species of humans would be coming to the earth that were extremely intuitive. Just now what you said made me think the new beings are coming and they're very intuitive.
Yeah. I mean, the kids, look at the kids now. You look in the young baby's eyes now, even the younger children.
They're like wide awake.
Oh my goodness.
They're like grown, like grown people.
And I hear, I don't know where I heard it from. We are going from Homo sapien to Homo luminous.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's cool because we're raising in the vibration, right? So we are shedding the density, the blocks that kept us weighted down here, and individually and collectively. So we're doing this, I guess we're unloading the baggage, you know?
Right.
And we're going to be more of a buoyant spirit than feeling like we're on an anchor. drowning.
Right.
You
And
know?
the other thing is that we need to get out of our own way. We need to allow the realm to talk through us
Yes.
and know that this too shall pass. Just
Yeah.
completely cover it with light. People have lost their families because of Trump. One girl wrote me today and said her mother wrote her and said, Trump wanted the National Guard to come in, but Nancy Pelosi refused him. Total lie. Total lie. But you got to put a white, like she was devastated that her mom turned into this. But
Yeah.
you've got to just allow, you've got to cover them with light and then be unconditional when they come back, you know.
Exactly. My brother is stuck there too. And it is heartbreaking, but he's not one to like come into your face with things, but he really believes it. He, you know, and it's scary. And I don't live near him. He lives in Arizona. I live in Virginia, but he, he's always suffered from depression, and his depression is 1,000 times worse. And I'm like, Bill, well, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said his name, but you should, that's, don't you see, don't you get the connection? You know, because
Well,
people,
he thrives off negative.
yeah, but people think that, okay, so you can't beat him, join him. We're just going to double down and be like Trump and be cruel and be greedy and power hungry and all that. And you're like, can't you see a higher way out of this? Why do we have to always go to war and battles and fighting, you know? And and it's just sad, but those people too, I do the same thing. I send everybody love. If I'm really getting triggered, I usually send a pink bubble. It's like, it looks like a cloud almost of love to people. And that's what I do. I just go about my own business, you know. So I know I can't change anybody. It's not for me to change anybody, but at the same time, I can be love. And I can be, yeah, in every moment, and not be ashamed or afraid. Or I remember, you know, maybe 20 years ago or so, it was like almost embarrassing to show love.
Oh, I know, huh?
Yeah.
And men have a hard time because men aren't supposed to be soft.
Right. And it's God.
Yeah. God is the whole thing. It doesn't have to be God. It could be whatever you believe in. There's an omnipresent energy
That's right.
that's in creation, that if you could tap into that, like if I see people on the other side that were here as humans, vibrationally, it's a high like you won't believe. You would not be afraid to die if you could see that peace that is coming. So don't think everything, you know, live this life knowing that you have another life. Live this life just tapping into that higher collective realm, and that way you can manifest what you need. And ask for permission. If you really can't get it, ask. Say, hey, listen, I'm stuck. Could you help me?
They're right here. Yeah.
And then wait for it.
Yep. They're right here wanting to help. And we have teams. And you're right. I call creator of all that is, or source, or whatever name you got to give it. We're so used to saying God. But we have angels, guides, guardians. I have dragons. I'm a dragon. I have dragons.
I love dragons.
And they're so, you know, people look at me like I'm nuts, but I know that the dragons are the most oldest ancient species from here, you know, that are just all wisdom. They're full of knowledge and wisdom, and they really help me. Astrology's been, you know, a lifelong learning thing, but I really didn't get into it fully until like maybe 7 years ago. But I would call in astrology guides. I get all kinds of stuff, and that's all you're absolutely right. All you have to do is ask for assistance.
Ask for assistance and wait for it. Don't keep, somebody will say, I need this.
Yeah.
I need, it's like I say, act like the master is the main computer. You type it in, you put it out, and if you keep changing your mind or overemphasizing it, they can't answer because you're going into what they call a state of resistance.
That's right. That's right. And see, that's part of the 12 universal spiritual laws. You got to allow, you got to let go, and just keep going. Because even if that thing doesn't show up, that thing you want so bad, it's because that or something better is on its way. And we don't give it that time to, it takes a lot to coordinate everybody, to get everybody what they need, so and we're doing it for each other because we're here.
And be careful what you say with your words. If you automatically are always, oh, I can't afford that, or no, well, we didn't want to spend the money, because always thinking in terms that of lack, you accomplish more of the same.
Yep.
You will create whatever. If you say, I've got enough money, there's no problem. Thank you for the bounty that I'm receiving. Watch what happens. It turns around.
And that's exactly what I was saying to you before. I had to take every thought that came in my mind and flip it. I flipped it to the opposite of what I was hearing. I always said I didn't have enough money. I didn't have this. And then I was always complaining. I was always in pain. I was always whiny, I guess is the best word for it.
But it's human. You were human.
Yeah. But until you see, because it's you, only you can do it. No one can do it for you. So when you say, okay, I'm going to change the way I think, and I'm going to flip this thought around, and I mean, I flipped this, that went on for a little while, and it is a little bit of work, but it becomes second nature to you after it clicks into your body. This is old program. We're programming ourselves to re-establish a better, I don't even want to call it a program, just a more loving, it's love. And you're right. If I don't use the words can't, won't, want. Like there's a lot of words I won't even, I try my hardest. I don't say ever, but I try not to use them at all, because they just want, it leaves you in a state of wanting.
Well, the higher vibrationally you get, the higher you're connected to the realm. Doesn't make you special. I'm just saying vibrationally, the higher you go, a lot of the things you thought you want fall to the wayside.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It is amazing, because you're like, wow, I didn't even really want that. You just think that I don't know, it's in your face or it's on at this shop. I just can't. I see a world where we all are cared for. Everyone has their basic needs cared for, and they utilize their energy into their passions and use it to the highest benefit that they can, whatever that is. There's not all this, $200,000 to get through school, and I don't know. It's so much different what I see now. I don't know. I could be wrong.
That'll change.
But it's going to happen over time, especially when we're fully in the age of Aquarius, because Aquarius is the humanitarian. They want freedom for everybody. They want everyone cared for.
When are we fully into Aquarius?
It won't be till November 2024, I believe.
It's coming up. Yeah. Well, then election.
Yeah, yes. So you're going to see, right? All this is going to be amped up, because let's face it, the media is not on our side. I don't care what media
they just want to make money off the case.
Yeah. So, and how many people watch that and believe it? I mean, believe it, and they get so angry. I know so many people, and I'm like, please stop watching the news. I was guided to stop watching TV altogether.
Well, it causes you anxiousness. That doesn't help you creating what you want.
No.
I listen to it partly for my work.
Yeah.
But I can call bullshit in the New York Minute. Like, no, not going to have, he was talking about changing venues to West. And I said, he'll still lose, even if they change the venue. They're not going to change it. But I'm just saying, my guide's like, or whatever.
Yep. I get the same thing. I get it will be. Do you get it will be televised? I get it will be televised.
I get it will be televised. Yeah. Oh. And Sterling, my friend Sterling said that this morning.
I love Sterling.
He said it'll be televised, and he said that it probably would just be like a main camera and then sent out to the other news media. But, it's very important that the country see, because they'll make up, Fox News will make up stories like
like they do.
Nancy Pelosi refused him. Okay, if Nancy Pelosi refused you, I'm sure you have proof beyond a reasonable doubt, and you present that at the trial. Well, it's total lie.
Mm-hmm.
Where did they show this 64 times? I think it was 64 times. The court said, nope, nope, nope. Even the Supreme Court turned their back on him.
Yep. And it does. It has to be exposed, because this is how we clear out blocks and negativity and things that don't work. You face it, you bring it in, you look at it, you acknowledge it, you somehow accept it, forgive it, whatever you have to do, and then release it in love. And that's how you free yourself of these things. Now, that sounded really easy, and it's not that easy, but it's not. It becomes easier the more you do it, the more you are it. It's not even that you're doing something, you are it after, eventually.
Right. Now, some of the laws, what are the ones you like the best?
Well, see, the one you were talking about vibration, that's the one, the law of vibration. I found these laws because I was looking up the law of attraction. That was a big thing a few years ago, right? So, well, longer than that. So I'm looking at, and I find there's all these other laws, and I'm like, oh boy. So you can't really implement the law of attraction if you don't have the other 12 laws at least neutral or higher. Of course we're all vacillating and here and there, and but we do them all day long, every day.
Right.
Most of us believe in a higher power, right?
Right.
In the first law is the law of divine oneness, where everything is connected. So this crystal is connected to you, to my computer, to my phone, and so on and so forth. But when you see people,
so does that mean I'm connected to Gerard Butler?
I think so. I meant to say that.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
What's the other one? Henry. What's his name? Henry? The one you like is it Henry Cavill? Oh my goodness. Did I say the wrong person? Maybe I'm meaning Gerard. No, I'm sorry. It was a guy. I said it wrong. It was who you said, and I heard another name. Okay. Henry somebody, I don't know. Forgive me. So the law of action is, okay, we've come in, we got our belief. This is how I explain it, like astrology wise. Our higher self and our guides are helping us create, because we say these things in our mind that we want to create. So we start getting ideas come through, right? So the ideas come through and we kind of go through it. If your heart smiles, it's something that is really meaningful to you. And then you feel it. And when you get those chills, you know how we get the chills? And
yeah.
That's how you know. That's how you know. So that vibration is vibing off of you, going out.
And then you move towards it and you work through it and you get higher and higher.
Mm-hmm. It's just so cool. All of them are really useful. And the law of gender is probably the hardest one because it's not actual gender. It's, a sexual gender. We all have a divine masculine and a divine feminine. And this is really a good point. We're in Leo season, and Venus is in Leo right now, and it's retrograde. That hasn't happened. Venus hasn't been in Leo since 1812.
What?
Yeah, and in a retrograde cycle too. So a lot of these things are times in history where America was in a war, or America was just becoming a nation.
Oh,
all these cool things, right? But Mars went in Leo ahead of Venus. So at one point we had Mars and Venus both in Leo. Leo rules the sun. I mean, it rules the heart, rules the sun, rules everything in our solar system. Our heart rules everything in our solar system because we're a solar system unto ourselves, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it was being told to me that we were balancing our divine feminine and our divine masculine inside of ourselves, because once we're balanced and we understand how self-love and acceptance, I mean, your whole life changes. The whole world would change if everyone could really understand how important self-love and acceptance is. But this was kind of the spirit. It is all spirit, but spirit was like, yeah, here, we're going to go through this, and then Venus is going to retrograde and go backwards. And retrogrades aren't bad, they're good, because it's giving us more information.
Right,
It's giving us more information. We might have missed something, or fell asleep during that class or something.
Right.
So here we are, right? So this is probably one of the most important. We have the Lionsgate here. We have a lot going on, but in this Leo season, it is so important too, because Venus is everything you do love, everything from A to Z. And Leo is your heart. So it's spirit asking us to connect the two. Because once you do that and you follow that, that's all you need to do is follow your heart. And there you are. You're in a whole different vibration, a whole different world. We all could be in that whole different world if we would all just let the judgments and the brainwashing go. But it's not that easy.
It's hard. It can be some work.
Yeah.
But if you maintain that vibrational energy, it sort of smacks that stuff out of the way.
Yes, it does.
Sometimes I get caught up. I know when my daughter got COVID and I was so scared that she, because she has lung disease, so we didn't need that. And I was so scared and I started overthinking, and my guide said, "Excuse me, practice what you preach."
That's what they do to me.
I was like, "Yeah, you're right." So I breathed. I even went to the worst place. Maybe something happens in it. She does die, but she's not dead technically. So right. I just let it go.
Right. And that's where it comes down to really that trust and that faith in the universe and spirit. Right? Because I've done that with my kids. Okay, here's the worst case scenario. My oldest son loves motorcycles. Well, they make me extremely nervous. I don't, Yeah. And my brother got T-boned on his motorcycle in March. Literally had to rebuild him from the pelvis down, from the wrist, pelvis down. I mean, it's just like, even with that, I can't tell someone you can't enjoy your life. So I have to get good with, okay, if something happens to you, and my son said to me, "Mom, I want you to know if something does happen, I died happy on his motorcycle." So how am I going to argue with that? Exactly. And I have had a near-death experience when I was 20. So I understand that but I didn't get the message. It took me 25 more years.
I know that one, girlfriend. I know that one. Trust me, I know that one. So when people make an appointment with you, what is it that you focus on?
Well, I put your chart up and I have the planets where they are now. So it's called a natal chart reading with transits. And I focus on now because I'm also of this kind of mindset. If you're living in the past or you're going back to the past, you're in depression. If you're always in the future, you're in anxiety. So the only place we're alive is in this very moment right now. So I focus on what is in front of me, and they point out to me what to talk about and what to focus on. But it ends up being your whole chart and the transits. And I don't know everything, but sometimes I have to look up the asteroids because I don't know all the asteroid stuff, but I have a lot of asteroids in my charts. And when so I'm honest about that. And there's no way I would need 5 lifetimes to be a master astrologer. And it's just something that naturally came to me from my God. So
can they ask a question like, will I ever be married again?
Absolutely. Ask all the questions you want. You have all the time you want. I don't put a time limit on it. I record it and send you the recording afterwards. But it's good. It's good to know. It kind of gives you this 3-month snapshot. Right. And on the outer planets, it goes a little longer. But, there's always things going aspecting each other. So things change, but I pretty much know those out to a certain time period.
Right.
But they're a lot of fun. I would love to read your chart if you want me to
Okay.
read
I'll make an appointment.
it. Okay. And I mean,
Yeah, let's check it out.
yeah, this way you can know to tell. I know you have a lot of beautiful people, and thank you all for being
Wonderful. Yeah, I can also say I had the reading. I've been
Yeah.
so crazy busy though, just getting anything done.
I'm
Seems to be a
telling
little
you.
difficult.
Didn't that seem to happen right around the equinox? It just spun out of control. It's and that's exactly what happened to us energetically. It's like the portal doors open, but we were in this new energy that we've never been in before, and it took us all, even those of us who are connected, and maybe a little bit of time
Yeah.
to say, what in the hell's going on? You know,
Did you have a lot of people been complaining about being really tired?
I'm tired. I think it's just our it's the way our guides help us integrate those higher energies.
It's hard. Like if
Yeah,
you were to go from here to there, you would die.
right,
They
right.
gradually put you through.
Yeah. So if we don't do it slowly, and this is why it's so important to honor yourself, because when you're tired, that's it. I'm going to take a nap. If I'm hungry, I'm going to eat, you know, get and try. I'm not the best at this, but try to eat as healthy as you can and drink
Right.
clean water. You know, I have a chocolate addiction, but what are we going to do?
Yeah.
I like my chocolate. Oh my goodness. But yeah, these energies are just going to amp up, amp up, amp up. Okay, now we have the next big thing coming is the fall equinox. So that'll help us. That'll be Virgo season, and Virgo season will help us all get our ducks in a row, discern all the information we've been discerning in our heart's been talking about, and the things that we're going for, that we want to go for. So Virgo's real easy at saying, no, this won't work. No,
Right.
we do this.
Are
So
you feeling anything? You know, Putin's a Libra, but I'm feeling he's getting ready to do something stupid.
if he does, Ukraine gets back, and Ukraine's been, I mean, God bless them, but
Working hard.
they have been. I don't see him making it very long either.
Yeah.
He's going to get it from the inside somehow.
That's what Andre says too.
Mm-hmm. And now, uh, uh, as terrible as this is, I don't know if it. Who sees the? I think it's Susan Lynn sees Ukraine being built up to this really beautiful new city.
Oh yeah,
new, right? And that's I've always seen that when she said that. I'm like, yeah, but I didn't honestly think it would go this long. I didn't.
me neither.
But,
And I see tourists. I see people going to Ukraine to enjoy it and help build it up.
Yeah, and they really. I'm getting once. Okay, good. January 21st, 2024 will be when Aquarius goes. Pluto goes back into Aquarius. See, we're in a Pluto retrograde in Capricorn right now, and that shows us all the things that are not working, all the underbelly, all the things that we know as humanity we have to leave behind in order to ascend, in order to go to a higher vibration, right? So and Pluto does his job thoroughly, so he's going to make sure we see all the nasty stuff and look at Trump, look at all that. But it's coming, it's slowly coming in. It's slowly coming to a point of no return, really, for him and Putin, because once Pluto is in Aquarius, and I want to say I actually feel it happening a little bit before January, that we're going to start to see real evidence of that higher vibration. And by 2025, we're really going to see it.
We're
But
right in the middle of it. Yeah.
yeah, it is so cool. And just remember, though, we're the ones creating this new world. So what
Yeah.
is it you want to create? Write it down, or start a campaign, or start a Facebook page, anything to get
Right.
that energy into the energy.
Yeah. Well, that
So
was my purpose, just to tell everybody, don't worry, this too shall pass.
thank you.
And
Did
they
you
gave
get
me
it?
little tidbits. They gave me little tidbits, even about the pandemic coming. They said I saw a bad virus and everybody wearing masks.
See, the only thing I saw for 2 years before that was everybody at home. I thought it was a financial crash.
Oh,
I had no idea, because I'm like, that'll never happen. I remember saying it to myself, because I used to say if everyone got to sit at home, they would see what really matters to them, what it is they really care about. And I couldn't believe it. I'm like, we're sitting at home, but we're in a pandemic. What in the world just happened? So
that's
I
it.
didn't, yeah, I didn't see the
We
pandemic,
got a
but
hit too. So what are you getting on the, or does even astrology? I know Andre can't go there, with the earth changes.
well, okay, the solar flares are really helping us. Solar flares and like these gateway portals, they really help us, because what it does is it brings in those higher conscious vibrating energies from all the galactic center, the super galactic center, the great attractors, and it comes into the Milky Way, and it goes in and it goes through. I mean, there's massive suns, like Sirius is our spiritual sun that vibrates energy to our sun, right? And then that energy comes down and trickles down onto us. So we've been going through that for a good, well, since 2012, since the Mayan calendar
Wow.
changed. Yeah, we went through the harmonic convergence in 1987, and that was the start of people getting that energy. There was the people, the forerunners, light workers, love workers, energy workers, and everyone thought they were crazy. Oh, you just,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. Well, here we are now, and that energy just keeps pouring in. And like you said, it's got to get poured in at a certain rate, because if it's too strong, we wouldn't live.
There's a famous book, and I own one. I know to even buy it now, it costs an arm and a leg. I can't think of the doctor that wrote it, but he was talking about this change that is happening.
Mhm.
And I pooed him towards the end, because he's talking about the terrestrials that are going to show up.
Mhm.
And then I find out that Edgar Casey had said the terrestrials were with the Egyptians, the terrestrials, they helped Atlantis. They
Mhm.
helped develop these new cities until they blew themselves up or whatever.
Mhm.
So it's like, I think we're going into another new beginning. We're trying again. But what was I going to say about it? That there's certain things that need to happen in order for us to get there. Even Trump was a need to happen.
Yes, it had to. We had to see what wasn't working. And if you look at him on a soul level, step back, okay, there's many a times I say he's heartless and soulless, and I'm not sure he has either. I'm not. But
He seems like a shell to me.
yeah, he's nothing in there. And there's a lot of them, Putin and all those guys have nothing in there. So I kind of consider them the necessary evils for us to see,
Yeah. Yeah.
and and all the things that they've done. And this may sound cold, but everybody was alive on a soul level had come into that contract with this time period. I'm going to go through this or that, and look, you went through cancer, you healed. A lot of people don't make it, and that, I think, is part of their contract. It's not because we don't die. We
Yeah.
know we're going to be. We could be anything we want in any moment, especially when you cross over. So, and I get a lot of information from my guides on that, and I still kind of question it, because I'm like, well, eh, there's a lot of people who want to say, well, there can't be any heartless and soulless people here, and I'm like, why not? who said that everyone had a soul, you know, so I just don't see that. They have a blankness to them.
Yeah.
And
But they're supreme narcissistic, because
yes,
even with 9/11, his first of all, he lied that he had a bunch of friends in that building, which he didn't. And the next thing is that his building is now the tallest. Who goes there? Who does that? The first day as being president, he goes into the CIA, and all these names on the walls of CIA men who have died. And what does he talk about? The crowd size at his inauguration.
every day we had to hear stuff like that. It made me nauseous, and I was losing my mind, and I think a lot of us were. And thank God, because I was watching the news, and that was just making myself worse. And I found you, and Susan Lynn, and Allie, and I was like, oh my God, my people. But there were some people I had followed that had been spiritual or astrologers that went over to his side, and I couldn't believe it.
Oh, I know. A couple of them, it was like, what?
Oh my God.
But you know, we have free will, so.
Yeah.
But you just don't watch them. If it vibrationally, if it doesn't help you, don't watch them. There was two guys, I don't even know, freaking Yak or something. Two astrologers had a YouTube channel, had a lot of people subscribe too. You know, you can buy subscribers, by the way. Sometimes I wonder. But anyway, they have their astrology charts out. Let me tell you guys, beyond a reasonable doubt, Trump is going to win 2020. Trump is going to win this planet with that planet, including that English guy in the UK. He just swore, huh?
Steve Judd?
Not Steve Judd, it's another guy.
This guy, okay.
Bald guy, Craig something.
I probably don't want him because of that.
He's a good astrologer. He does a good job, but for some reason he really thought Trump. So we can all make mistakes, you know. But these other guys just swore that you can mark our words, he's going to win, and he didn't win.
Well, let me say this. He did win, but I do believe he will, and I'm going to say this, probably not a popular thing, he will be deemed an illegitimate president.
Oh, yes. I said that years ago.
See, and that's probably where I heard it. So he will be, though. When I heard that, I was like, oh my God, yeah, because he cheated so much. And don't think for a second they don't use astrologers. Now, he is not obviously using an astrologer because there's no way to make this chart in his favor. I mean, you could try, but the light is here.
Yeah.
And the light is just emphasizing and magnifying on everything.
Yeah.
He's being held up to the light and exposed for who he is, for what he is. And the dark money
that's kicking and screaming. He's kicking and screaming.
He is. And he's just pathetic. You know,
and I think this month of August is really going to hit him hard. I think this judge is not going to put up with any nonsense. And in fact, she denied them trying to extend again, you know. I don't care. I know he can't decide where to have this at. They have to do it where the crime was committed, which was DC. But for him to think that he can have it sent to West Virginia. But I'll tell you something, even if he had it in West Virginia, with all the testimony by fellow Republican people, he would lose.
He would.
Even in West Virginia.
The poorest among us that are controlled red states, and I don't know how, because I used to think, oh my God, can't you see how they're making you suffer? And you're supporting this. What is wrong with you? You know,
they want to take away their Social Security and their SSI. And poor people, older people, they want to take away their Medicare.
That's not going to fly. That is not life affirming. That is not lifting up humanity. Pluto in Aquarius is humanitarian. There is no way around that. Okay. Yeah. A lot of people want to say, well, the dark side of Pluto is too much AI. You know, AI is probably going to take over a lot of jobs because it's more efficient. But the thing AI doesn't have is a heart.
Yeah.
So how it can't take over. You know what I mean? It is we are heart-centered, soul-centered beings. Now
Right.
we've been separated for quite a while because of capitalism and
Well, I think that what's going to happen is, you know, Reagan, he's the first one that said the rich don't have to pay taxes. He dropped them really low. I think what's going to happen if Biden gets in again and we have a majority, he can say, okay, now to because they don't want you to tax the rich. No, let's take it out of Social Security and everything. No.
I can't tell you how infuriating it is, because if the rich just paid their fair share of taxes, and I'm saying fair share, it would immensely help all of our nation.
Yes.
I don't understand how come, and that's what's going to change too with Aquarius. There's not going to be these two rules for the rich and rules for the middle class.
Yeah.
Right. You can't do that.
Right.
That's it. And the poor are working 2-3 jobs, working poor, paying the taxes. What in the world is going on?
Oh, they pitch a fit if he wants to raise the minimum wage. We could go on and on. Unfortunately, I have to go, but I had a good time talking to you.
I had a good time talking to you. I appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much.
Oh, sure, honey. I have to go because the dogs, it's time to eat.
Okay.
Okay, you guys. So I will post everything on the bottom. And thank you all for watching. Please subscribe to Illumination Portal.
Thank you.
Cheers.